Yeah, that's my coffee cup. I just want to make sure I get the beginning of this. I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, my real name. The name I have to use is Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married a Childers. And remember that I wrote about mind control murders. And Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, while I was doing a medical malpractice book, MD, A License to Kill. And it was about the use of mind control in programming people. You can make them go out and shoot, or a knife, or any weapon. You can cure an illness or create it. So you can uh, well, Ebola and AIDS, I want you to zero in on that right at the moment for what I'm going to try to put up here. And I was writing about the Center for Disease Control when I got a letter from the FBI in '79, trying to get the book published. And I was almost killed on April Fool Day of '80. Illegally taken across the state line. I should have died. There's no way I should have walked away from that. And the woman where I was taken and grew up, if you call it that, it was a hellhole. And if you want me to use another word, I'm not going to, because that doesn't even describe it. I know I'm using my cup up here, but it's a point of reference to try to just keep this steady. I don't have other gear to help me in doing the videos. I do the best I can under the circumstances. Now, where was I? Well, I'm watching TV, and maybe I shouldn't, because I really shouldn't. It's distracting, to say the least. So where was I? Okay, here I am. I was kidnapped, brought to Moulton, Alabama, and given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey and Carl Preston Dempsey, were both killed by their mom. They were born out of wedlock. The family covered it up. So if anybody had pursued it, they would have been, Lina murdered the twins, so she would have been guilty and put to death in the gas chamber back then. All right, the family covered it up, and then I was put there just 2 weeks after Peggy was fed to the pigs, and this is true. People can call me names if they want to. This is true, so what if one day this is all told, and hopefully not too far away? What do people who said the nasty things? There's been a lot who have been nice. I'm not saying that. There's also been those who have been so cruel just because I told the truth. And it seems right at this moment, well, hey, woman, you're a crazy woman, you're a crazy granny, you're a this and that. So, what if? Are you going to turn around and even bother to say you're sorry? Well, it wouldn't gel with me. I know better. I've lived my life, and it's been hell, and I've put it up. You don't see it on TV because the Illuminati, they control your press, in the United Nations, which I have told you about, the takedown of my father, Edward VIII, never married Wallace Simpson. It was a character assassination to take him down because he wouldn't sign the illegal treaties that the Illuminati, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, who those are Jews, Bilderbergers, Roosevelt, the president, JFK, who is Joe Kennedy, who was appointed as ambassador to England in '36 when my father became king and was married to my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe. And I'm going to turn this around now and try to go from there. He never married Wallace Simpson. She married a double. It was all planned. They took out my father, installed the illegal Georgia 6. Thus, Elizabeth and that whole bunch really are illegal and war criminals, but they work for the Illuminati. And there's been a list recently published, which I've been telling it and seeing it for a long time, where she's up in the top of the Illuminati. She doesn't work for the British or the UK or etc. By the way, when the Virginia Tech, I was telling about mind control murders, and Virginia Tech was one of them. But remember, part of this is you can cure an illness or create it. So cancer, all these, and I don't mean that lightly. I'm the one that's been telling about this, okay? I'm trying to get through it and make a point here before this video goes off because I'm limited, obviously, on everything. So I'm just going to jump in here. Maybe you can follow it, or and I'm just going to tell what today and try to tell the best because it involves South Africa and Elizabeth and Meghan Markle now, who's biracial. They're playing a race card. Let's put it plain and simple and throw it out there. I hope that South Africa is not fooled again. My dad didn't do this. I didn't do it. I was kidnapped and brought over here, and my children, and tortured beyond belief. So now then they're sending Meghan Markle down because she's biracial. But there's more to this whole thing about Meghan's family and all this, and married with children. And you can call me names if you want to. What are you going to say if I'm proven right? And I am right, whether it's ever told, has to be told on the media, which is controlled by the Illuminati that kidnapped me and took my father down. And when they took him down, it led the way for the invasion and the takeover of the UK, and putting their own president, monarch in there, and that was George VI and Elizabeth, illegal Illuminati. Now then, it became the United Nations, which has collected all your countries just about under the name the UN, and of course they're global. They don't tell you all this. They're the good guys for, well, here we go, civil rights. And I'm not even able to put very much in here, but I'm going to read this off the best I can right at the moment, okay? First of all, now there's a missing Saudi journalist, and I'm not taking away from them, but I'm the real monarch the day I was born. Papers drawn up, all legal. Kidnapped, I was born in 39, kidnapped in 41. So Elizabeth has known who my mom is, and double married Wallace and all this. She's known the kind of hell I've gone through, am going through. Now, so they've told about the missing journalist, and then I believe there was Interpol lady or president that was of Interpol that was just kidnapped the other day or missing. So they tell all these things, but I'm what? Okay, not important, right? Important enough to kidnap and take down so you could take over the British and all that. And put the UN right up here in New York where the Rockefeller Center and all that is, headquarters. Okay, Nikki Haley from South Carolina has just is going to resign as ambassador to the United Nations, appointed by President Trump. Okay, now then, I hope I don't have anything on the back of that I'm supposed to put up. I'm writing it down, and I don't, wish I could type it. I want to go to Andrew Young now, which I've put up about. He was with Martin Luther King when he was shot and killed. And Andrew Young, I've put this up a lot, so I didn't just put this one up today. Andrew Young was with Martin Luther King when he was shot in Memphis. All right. Now then, he was a civil rights leader, so big in the civil rights movement. Now I want to try to go through this. I've put up about what happened to me during writing the book, Letter from the FBI, April Fool Day of 80. I was almost killed. Transported illegally to Huntsville, where I did manage to work for the district attorney there, and Doyle Duke of Golden Triangle's next, and I've forgotten, computer science. Yeah. Okay. Now then, I'm going to give you background because when that happened in 80, it was 1980, April Fool Day, I came back to Atlanta, and I was without a job again. And the effects of what they did to me took a long time. It was hell for a long time. So I'm back there, and I try to see Andrew Young because now he's mayor as of 1981 of Atlanta. And, of course, they wouldn't see me. I ran into Maynard Jackson, which they renamed the airport there after Hartfield Jackson. airport. Well, he and Police Commissioner Lee Brown, during the Wayne Williams, his prosecution, and supposedly he killed the children there in Atlanta. Well, I was telling about this, and Mary Welcome, his attorney, and then I told all this over and over. So they knew Martin Luther King partnered with JFK. He helped kidnap me. Let me reiterate here for someone who wants to not look it up or whatever. JFK was in the Army. His older brother, Joe, I believe, died. But JFK flew in and stayed at the embassy. How about this, of England? His father was appointed there as ambassador, 36 till 46. Listen to the time. 36 is when my father became king. And they kicked him out in 46. But 39 to 41, JFK would fly in to the Embassy of England. He spoke before Parliament, and he directly helped kidnap me and bring me to Moulton, Alabama. The Illuminati did. JFK did. JFK Jr. came up on the trail in 93 or 94. I can't remember which one, but I've put the dates up there because if I keep telling this again, it gets too long and I'll run out of space on the tube and have to try to do another one and connect it. JFK Jr. and his cousin, who was Lee Raswell, her sister's Jackie, and so that makes them cousins. They came up the trail. And they had all this nice gear, and he told me, I said, you look like John Jr. He said, well, I am. And it was his cousin that you was so much friends. Okay, the thing was, he pulled out peanuts and food, and I hadn't eaten. I was starving. I had spent the winter and walking, and it was horrible. Horrible, starving, hardly any cover or anything. And here he comes up in all his finery and everything, and he tells me that I assume they flew down. I'm not sure he said that, but there's got to be records, and I've told how to say what spring it was, because the Appalachian Trail was doing a new trail. There was the old one that he came up. That's where I came up, on Mountain Pass Road and Travel. Now then, there was a new one on round from where Mountain Pass veers off. It veers off and becomes Mountain Pass from Lee Highway, where the post office is there. So that's easy. The people that keep the trail can tell you what year that was put up. So that was when JFK Jr. came up. And then later, both of them died back in 1997, I believe, or 8. Now then, this is all these nice people kidnap a baby, the monarch, because of papers my father signed. He was forced out. It was all lies, character assassination. And brought me to Moulton, Alabama. Now, and they talk about civil rights. I haven't had a civil right. Now then, we're going to Andrew Young, and Martin Luther King helped JFK. He partnered with him, and that gets into a story outside of what was done to me, if you ever hear it, and you should. If you tore down a statue of Martin Luther King, you'd have hell to pay. But all this can be done to me, and you can go up to Charlottesville, and you can pretend that a whole bunch of things. First of all, I don't think you should touch the statue of Martin Luther King, all right? Martin Luther King. Yeah, well, you better not, because you'd have hell to pay. I meant to say Robert E. Lee. Excuse me. Excuse me for not liking people that participated in trying to kill me and take over my country. And I'm going to get to that, where I've already put it up here, but this I just Googled, okay? Andrew Young, civil rights leader, Walk of Fame. By the way, his second wife was Jean Childs, Childs, Young. Okay, Childs, part of Childers, is used in the mind control murders that I've been talking about. the patterns that can prove mind control because it's invisible. Now, before this goes off, there's one that I'm not going to put up again, except I'm going to say it's so, all of it was sad to me. I was trying to tell you about it, and a lot of people hate my guts. They really do, for telling it. So, Childs was used in the state troopers, something that happened here some years back, and I'm not going to go into that again. I'm sad for all of it, but that one really kind of gets me. Anyway, because some of the state troopers were the good guys, too. Oh, excuse me for crying here. Okay, I hope this doesn't go off. I'm going to try to read it, and my shorthand is not good. It's not shorthand, I've scribbled it. So here I try to laugh again. Okay, so Andrew Young, Reverend, was with Martin Luther King, close friends, civil rights, all this. Let's see if I can just read it here and get it all up. And let me hold this up here. Okay. Andrew Young quotes, "We as Americans are the champions of human rights, civil rights." until you show about me, if you ever are forced to. It's a revelation from God to our founding fathers. Okay. Now, I hope I'm doing this, got it up right here. You can Google this, by the way. I've told most of it before. Andrew Young, was an activist for civil rights movement, became member of Congress, mayor of Atlanta, and U.S. ambassador to the United Nations by President Jimmy Carter of Atlanta, where I live. Jimmy Carter always knew about me, etc. He and Rosalind, all of them. I thought at one time they were good. He's part of the Illuminati, too, the global government up there now that Nikki Haley is stepping down as ambassador from. Mayor of Atlanta in 1981, was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Middle class. His father, they were middle class family. His father was a dentist. Well, I'm not accusing his father of anything. Dentist gets into the chips I was telling about that are placed in people and mind control and all that. By the way, if I was writing this in 76 about it, the book began it when Flint was shot and all this. And then I put up here, there was a book called Project Lucid by Tex Mars. He put it up, and his was published, I believe, in 96. A church sent it to me, bought a copy, says, "This is what you've been telling about." Well, they're telling about the chips and Revelation and end time and the mark of the beast and all this. I did not know in 1976 when I was doing the book any relationship to the Bible, okay? So listen to where this man became. Remember, I lived in Atlanta. My children were born there, and then we moved back in about 67, about the time whenever Martin Luther King was shot in Memphis. And then all this happens to me there in Atlanta, and they're part of it. They fail to tell you that, don't they? Okay, here, Jimmy Carter, okay, let me go back up here. Andrew Young was an activist for civil rights movement, became member of Congress, mayor of Atlanta, to U.S. ambassador to United Nations by Jimmy Carter. Okay, mayor of Atlanta in 86, was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Middle class family, father was a dentist. I got to there. Okay, let me go here, see if I can get up. 1960.